As a landscape contractor, you've got a lot on your plate, from managing where your employees are at, where your equipment's at, does it have enough fuel, all of those things during those peak months that you guys are full throttle. The last thing you want to worry about is, do you have the right insurance? Today, I'm going to help you figure out what insurance you need and how to make sure it's the right one for your business. The first thing that you want, and it's the first kind of step into the insurance world, is general liability insurance. General liability generally is $1 million per occurrence and $2 million aggregate of insurance. If you work with a commercial customer, they're going to want to see your certificate of insurance or certificate of liability insurance, or COI as some people call them. And they want to make sure that you have liability insurance. They won't let you on site and won't give you the contract if you don't have it. So that's the first thing, is just a simple GL policy. And that covers you for just the kind of dumb stuff that happens being a landscape contractor. So for example, you are mowing down the side of a road and you pick up a pebble and throw it through someone's windshield. That would be an example of a liability claim. Another one is if you are putting a sprinkler system in somebody's backyard and you dig a hole, but it downpours and you say, we'll be back tomorrow. That night, that homeowner goes outside, steps in your hole, falls and breaks their leg because of your hole. Another example of a liability claim. So it's just those kind of weird things that happen on the day-to-day business that protects you from lawsuits and from anything else that might happen coming against and making your business go bankrupt. And they're pretty inexpensive. They're based off of annual sales a lot of times. Each company does things a little different, and they can range probably around $500, $300 to $500 to $1,000 at the high end for a GL policy for a landscape contractor. So not a whole lot. The second aspect of it is your contractor's equipment. So you guys a lot of times have trucks, you've got trailers, which would be a business auto. Also, you have mowers and hedge trimmers and all sorts of equipment. And so with all that equipment, you want to make sure it's covered. Some contractors starting off, they might have a push mower if you're just starting out, or something not as big. You might want to self-insure that. No worries, just get your GL and be fine. But you larger landscape contractors, you want to make sure that you have all of your equipment properly covered. One tip that we see and what not to do is, some people say, I'm going to save my insurance. So during the winter months, I'm going to take it off my insurance policy and then put them back on in the spring. Not a good idea, because if where you're storing them happens to burn down, you have no coverage for any of your equipment while it's in storage. So that's worst case. So don't take it off, leave it on all year long. It may seem counterintuitive because you're not using it, but you want to make sure you have protection from theft, from vandalism, from any of those things, fire, if it does go wrong. So the second aspect is the contractor's equipment. So make sure you have your mowers listed out and what the actual replacement cost is for them at the given time, and not the brand new cost for a lot of those. So you want to make sure you let your insurance company know and your agent know that you have these amount of mowers, these amount of trimmers, all of your equipment. So if something happens to them, you have coverage on your policy for all of your equipment. So that's the second one. And some other little things that we see a lot of times, if you're working with a lot of commercial contractors or commercial properties, for example, they'll want to be listed a lot of times as additional insureds on your policy. So that is an extra cost on a lot of these policies. So make that, state that up front, and then you can add that back into your contracts and your billing and charge your customers for that throughout the period of time. So when they say, I want to see a certificate of insurance listed as additional insured, you can say, here you go, with confidence, here it is, and already have that cost built into it. Another big policy that landscape contractors will face is the workers' compensation. So GL is pretty inexpensive. Business auto is a little more expensive than your personal auto, but it's right in line. And then the more expensive one is your workers' compensation. Your guys are out in the field, they're mowing, they're with equipment, they're out when it's hot, they're lifting things. And so the risk is a little more for them to get injured with back issues, stuff rolling over their feet, for example. And so just keep that in mind as you start to build out your team. Work with your insurance agent to figure out how much it might cost so that you can budget that throughout the year on your workers' compensation. You start small, GL's pretty inexpensive. Once you get to work comp, it's going to be a little more expensive. So those are the general policies and kind of ways to get started as a landscape contractor. If you're already rock and rolling and have a lot of guys, it's good to have an audit to make sure that you have the right coverage for your equipment, for your liability. You might want an umbrella policy if you guys are a large contractor. So yeah, that's what you need. And we work with a lot of contractors in the Lancaster area. And so we're happy to help you too. Give us a call, check us out, and good luck out there.